Oh, that's her, Shizuka. Hold on, what? What is happening? Is this the original timeline? So a lot of severely depressed people, their memories and their cognitive presentation, they get very much stuck in the past. To them, time kind of stops floating. They're stuck in their circumstances. Even though the time, obviously in real life, continues to move forward. Hello friends, my name is Benoit Kim, a UPenn educated psychotherapist and your favorite yapper. In last week's video, I talked about the meaning behind the title, Takopi's original sin, so make sure you check it out in the introduction. Going into today's video, episode 5, I've learned to really appreciate how psychologically sound and deep this show is, especially with the portrayal, accurately so, of trauma and the complexities of the human condition and human suffering. This is an amazingly deep show all around. Assassination Zero is a sponsored tier of today's video. I appreciate your support. Shout out to the best patron family. Let's see what today's video is all about. Sit back and I hope you enjoy. We're starting episode 5 with a mysterious, lonely butterfly. Usually in storytelling, as you may know, butterfly is usually a powerful storytelling tool to display transformation, renewal, and hope. But we'll see in this show what that represents. Or am I overthinking as usual? I want to kind of zoom in on the distance where the mother's asleep and Shizuka. Just from their sleeping arrangement alone, we see the distance. We see how emotionally apart and emotionally distant Shizuka is from her mother, because she's always busy, working at night and so on. But I think even the physical representation of their distance symbolizes the emotional distance and how Shizuka and her mother are not very close whatsoever. Is she excited because it's the first day of summer? Aww. So cheerful background music. It's different opening sequence. Quick pause. It breaks my heart to seeing how happy and how innocent Shizuka looks only after Marina is dead. This level of happiness and excitement and untainted childhood should have been a part of Shizuka's life, her entire being, her entire upbringing. But it only happens after the source of cruelty of Marina dying for Shizuka to come out of her shell. So I guess in that sense, that butterfly in the beginning of the episode 5 is symbolic. The butterfly symbolizing Shizuka coming out of her shell, moving through her trauma, cruelty of the bullying by Marina, to finally ready to embrace her day 1 of the summer break. And this is probably the happiest, least stressed Shizuka has ever felt of all the previous summer breaks. Why? Because it was endless suffering because of Marina. But this time, she's so excited to go to Tokyo. And yeah, so far, very, very cheerful, very happy beginning. But based on the setup of this show, the happier the beginning is, just like episode 1, the more intense and more heartbreaking the episode is going to become. So we'll see if that's the case, or for once, we're going to have a happy episode from the beginning until the end. But who are we kidding, right? The bustling culture of Tokyo. Yeah, that's not a suspicious floating flower, aka invisible Takopi stealing food. Also, I just had a random thought. Do you guys feel like Shizuka actually cares about Azuma? Or was she using him out of survival since the beginning? What do you guys think? Does Shizuka actually care about Azuma? Or was it all a survival needs based out of necessity? Of course, it could be both. I think it's both, but what do you guys think? Oh, dogs. That was a long trip, huh? They must live far away from Tokyo. Typical Japanese apartment complex. Oh, it's gonna be bad. Quick pause. Do you remember when Marina was further sabotaging or provoking Shizuka in the forest before Takopi accidentally killed Marina? Do you remember how she was like, you will never see Chappie again. Chappie's dead. They put him down. Chappie's not in Tokyo. It's all a lie. Do you think that's what's going to happen? Did Chappie actually die? Did the vet people or the whatever police force, did they actually put the, I guess animal control is the word I was looking for. Did the animal control people actually put down and kill Chappie because of biting Marina out of Marina's sociopathic manipulation and planning? And what is the reaction of Shizuka's father? Because obviously he's absent from their life and sounds like another horrible father of the year. So I'm very anxious out of anticipation of what's to come. Remember, happier the beginning of the show, the sadder it becomes. So I guess we shall see. Oh, I'm already getting anxious. Hi. Sounds like a normal guy. He has his own family.
どうしたさつき危ないだろエリちゃんが寝てるんだから
He has his own family.
お父さんお父さん私チャッピーに会いに来たの
チャッピー
ほらチャッピーの声が
Chappie's not here. Chappie's dead. FML, dude.
お父さんこの子誰
FML. Oh my goodness.
なんでお父さんのことお父さんって呼ぶの
それはよくわからないな
Oh, I love making predictions, but not for this show. Oh, the predictions are heartbreaking. It's exactly as I called it with the setup and the tempo of this show. The father's denying her. Sounds like Shizuka's father never told his new family about Shizuka, his own daughter, and his previous family. Again, who am I to judge? I don't know their circumstances. But Shizuka's father is seemingly a caring and thoughtful father to his new children, his new daughters, but not to his original first daughter. That's why he's denying that. I'm wondering that too. I have no idea who she is. And as I predicted, Chappie is not here. The father has no idea where Chappie is. So, and again, we're seeing all these heartbreak, all these denial of who Shizuka is, all this crushing of hope that Chappie is not here. Her feelings and her emotions are extremely stormy, and she's absolutely heartbroken. And we're seeing that being manifested and being displayed through a natural storm that's happening. Heartbreaking. Downpour rain.
子供たちがチャッピーを食べちゃったのかも
What?
タコピーの落ちてるセミとか食べるじゃんそうかもしれないよね静香ちゃんじゃあチャッピー取りに行ってあげないと
Oh no.
静香ちゃん胃の中を調べればわかるかも静香ちゃん
That monologue by Shizuka is nuts. Out of her desperation and out of her denial, oh, those girls are the reasons why my dad denied my existence and denied the existence of Chappie. They must have eaten Chappie. So what is Shizuka's mind thinking about? She is trying to kill and kidnap and capture those girls, the new daughters of her dad, and cutting their stomachs wide open. That is the level of her denial showing up, definition right here. Denial or avoidance is a common defensive mechanism and survival mechanism that many people do. Again, there's no judgment there. It's who are we to say it's good or bad? It's just whatever people do out of desperation, out of survival. But we can clearly see Shizuka's in deep, deep denial. And to even go further, she's fantasizing about killing those girls because they must be the reason why Chappie is nowhere to be seen. And obviously, Takopi never got to share its confession after the mirror reflection moment in episode 3 to Takopi or Azuma because of so many things that happened in episode 4. But I'm sure Takopi's also I think Takopi's also struggling with this rising of cognitive dissonance and this rising of internal emotional conflict between right and wrong and making Shizuka happy. Because after Takopi just heard Shizuka's insane monologue of cutting those stomachs open, I think Takopi is trying to plead and ask Shizuka to slow down, reconsider. Let's think about this.
タコピー、人間を捕まえて胃の中を調べる道具出して。
No,
わ
dude.
かんないピ。
Shizuka, Chappie is an Happian and all of her gadgets are happy gadgets. Do you feel like kidnapping and tool or gadgets of torture makes people happy? No? Then obviously Takopi doesn't have that gadget, right? But obviously Shizuka is desperate. She's just grasping for straw. She's just grasping just to do whatever it takes to deepen her denial.
そんな道具はないピ。嘘だ。静香ちゃん。じゃあいいよ。私が考えるから。静香ちゃんやめてピ。これならバレずに夜に忍び込めるし。静香ちゃん、僕の話を。静香ちゃん、もう帰ろう。ごめんね。僕が静香ちゃんがこんなボロボロになるまで頑張らせちゃった。楽しく遊べる道具なら出せるっぴ。パタパタ翼できっと楽しいっぴから。元の静香ちゃんに戻ってほしいっぴ。タコピーももう助けてくれないんだ。じゃあもういいや。あれ、どこかで見たことが。
Marina's eyes.
あなたの罪。
Before whatever is about to happen, based on Takopi's monologue, it sounds like Takopi was casted out of the Happian planet because her sin of disobedience. This is exactly what I conjured up and I predicted in episode 4's introduction with the meaning behind Takopi's original sin, which is disobedience. I won't go into that because I talked more in-depthly in last week's introduction. But just like Adam and Eve disobeyed God and fell from their innocence by biting into the forbidden fruit of apple, Takopi also fell from its innocence by disobeying out of her innocence by giving the gadgets to Shizuka, the happy ribbon. And Takopi discovering the lifeless body of Shizuka is what shattered its purity, born out of disobedience. Sounds like that is Takopi's original sin based on her own flashback. Second thing is, did you guys see the sinister nature of Shizuka's eyes? It represented the eyes of Marina. That's one. Two, do you see how Shizuka is cutting everything out? She is closing herself off and cutting people out emotionally. In episode 4, we saw Shizuka talking to Takopi before getting excited about the summer break about, I guess this means Azuma will no longer help us. As soon as Azuma is not doing whatever Shizuka wants him to do, she cut him out emotionally. Here, similarly, as soon as Takopi for the first time had a breakdown, Takopi's literally tearing up and tearful to plead and ask Shizuka to turn back. Let's go home. Because I think Takopi is also displaying it's burnt out. It's really burnt out from all the cognitive overload, unwinding time, doing all these fixture mindset, fix, solutions, problem solving. Takopi is tired. It's emotionally burnt out, especially after its own survivor's remorse and forced emotional reconciliation with the consequences of killing Marina because of seeing Marina's own mother breaking down. So Takopi is also exhausted, burnt out. But what do we see in response to that? Shizuka's very sinister, cold eyes, no emotions. Oh, so you're not going to help me either? That's another very, very powerful but traumatic defensive mechanism right here. They're cutting everyone out. They're pushing everyone away because of all the hurt, countless abuse, countless suffering Shizuka's endured her life until recently. So what does she do to protect herself? Oh, you're not with me? Then you're against me. She's pushing everyone that cares about her away. And she's perpetuating the vicious cycle of trauma. Being stuck. Oh, you're not going to help me? Push, stuck again. Lonely, social isolation. It's endless trauma loop. I guess I unknowingly paused at this extremely dramatic scene of looking like Shizuka is about to use a rock to strike Takopi and kill it. Because remember, Shizuka, out of her trauma, she's doubling down. If you're not with me, then you're against me. If you're against me, just like Marina was, I couldn't do anything to Marina. But you're tiny. I can do something to you. I'm going to kill you, Takopi. That's what it sounds like it's about to happen. Unfreaking believable, dude. Oh my gosh. This episode is starting off very, very intensely.
そうだ。
Hmm?
僕はピン星人。
Wait, in that magazine that was flying away, it said 2022. Did you guys see that time? It was 2022, but the series takes place in 2016. What is going on? And here Marina's alive, and Marina looks older, and there's a scar. So this is 6 years, 2022, right? So 2016, yeah, 6 years, right? I just a brain freeze moment. So this is 6 years after the story actually takes place. So what is going on? And sounds like Shizuka ultimately struck Takopi. And this reminds me of another famous mental health adage that displays this vicious cycle of trauma. Hurts people, comma, hurts people. This is a reason why so many perpetrators of child molestations and being sexually assaulted when they're a child, if they do not seek help and get healing, they perpetuate this cycle. They're going from a victim of sexual assault and child molestation, which is despicable crime. But people or children and people learn what they see. So if they do not interrupt this cycle, because it's not victims and hurt people's fault that they got hurt and traumatized in the first place. Of course not. We are not at fault or responsible for trauma. At the same time, please hear me loud and clear. Ultimately, it is our lives. No one cares about us as much as we will ever care about ourselves. So we are ultimately responsible to break our own trauma cycle, to interrupt that vicious cycle of behaviors and trauma by seeking help, by trying to get better, by seeking healing. So with Shizuka, that's what we're seeing. She's hurt, but she's not getting the help she needs. She's not seeking help or healing. So what does she do? She's perpetuating the trauma cycle of doing what Marina used to do to Shizuka. She's doing that to Takopi by being extremely violent with that sinister eyes of willing to kill Takopi, a companion who's kept nothing but herself company and try to be helpful since their first interaction in that playground. Do you see that? Hurt people hurts people. That's why we have to interrupt the cycle. Because I'm sure Shizuka does not like the person she's becoming, and she does not want to be a perpetrator of violence. Why? Because she was a victim to Marina's violence. But I'm very curious about this timeline and what is this flashback happening?
名前は
Is this an alternative universe?
キララ坂マリナ
2022, yeah, see 6.
僕はハッピー
Is this a different timeline? What is... I'm so confused. Oh man, someone help me out with all spoilers, man.
よかったら地球語でハッピーお名前をつけてほしいっぴ
Turd ball. Turd ball? Ball of turd?
あの顔の傷まるでヤクザですわ怖すぐ手が出るってお花ピンこれでお花さんごっこはやるわけないじゃん家ではおとなしくしててよね
Is coronavirus COVID still happening in 2022? The timeline kind of checks off. So it looks like in this whatever alternative universe, alternative multiverse scenario, Marina is still pretty physical, I guess physically violent. Again, Takopi shutting it up by kicking it, squeezing it, and so on. Not really being receptive to any of the happy gadgets it's trying to offer. And now she enters this, or she's about to enter this room where the lights are off. The mom is watching the news with tissue papers all crumbled up. So it seems like it's a very similar family dynamic, very broken, similar to the original timeline. So we'll see what's different and what's changed.
マリちゃん
起きてたんだ寝てるかと思った今ご飯の支度するから
ねマリちゃん昆布茶
ごめんね遅くなって今日いろいろあってあ昆布茶わかった今すぐね
Oh, the mom looks rough.
マリちゃん
薬もう飲んだ悪夢は副作用なんだって
マリちゃん
昆布茶
It sounds like Marina is purposely avoiding eye contact and trying not to talk to her mother. Is she trying to avoid conflict, emotional, psychological abuse? Sounds like Marina's mother is medicated and taking on some sort of medication for her mental health. And it sounds like it said nightmare is a side effect. So it sounds like, since obviously I work with medication as a psychotherapist, sounds like Marina's mother probably has some sort of a PTSD and is taking PTSD medication, or at least antidepressants. Since obviously in the original timeline, Marina's mother is very, very traumatized, very, very hurt because of her husband cheating on her with Shizuka's mother and other situations. So it sounds like the same thing, same plot and same storyline is happening just 6 years after the fact. But do you guys notice that? Marina is not really talking to the mom, just kind of focusing on doing. Oh, kombucha. Oh, I'm glad you're up. I thought you were asleep. Or you're taking medication. So Marina is also not really holding space and not being emotionally available for the mother, but trying to do what Takopi does best. Fix, 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 problem solve. Here's a solution. I'm guessing that's Marina trying to avoid conversations out of her own trauma and all the emotional, verbal and physical abuse she's gone through with the mother.
じゃあごめんなんか
だからどうして亡くなる前に
Oh, the mom looks rough.
ねえ、ママには紅茶キノコの綺麗なアルコールが必要なの。
The mom has gained tremendous weight in 6 years. Weight gain. That could be the result of her depression slash a lot of antidepressant medication has side effects of weight gain. So it's pretty common. And I just want to share some relevant clinical research and data. According to the latest clinical research, the best approach to our mental health and getting better is both psychotherapy, working with accredited professional, and two, pharmaceutical approach. Of course, I'm very much against big pharma. Of course, big pharma influences the rigor of academia. Big pharma is very corrupted. They care a lot about profits, especially in America. We don't really have a health care system. America operates around a sick care system. What that means is it's not really about making people better. Healthcare system in the United States, it's more sick care. It's more about keeping people sick so they can make more money, more prescriptions, more pharmaceutical approach, more pharmacy. So I'm very much against big pharma, just like a lot of helpers, professionals are. At the same time, we don't need to toss out the entire bathwater with baby in it, right? We can discern to see what's helpful and what is not helpful. So according to the clinical data, like I talked about, the best effective approach is both psychotherapy and a pharmaceutical approach if it is appropriate and based on the level of your depression or mental health conditions and suffering. So yeah, that's what I'm gauging from the mother's weight gain, probably because of her own depression and most likely because of staying indoor all day, not very active, but also potentially because of the side effect for her medication. But we see exactly why Marina's was avoiding eye contact and trying not to speak to the mother, having a heart-to-heart, mother-to-daughter, human-to-human conversation. Because obviously the mom was holding a broken bottle, pointing at Marina's face, almost poking her eyeball out. Extremely violent. Very, very unstable.
マリちゃんもそう思うよね。そんなんだから男が寄りつかないの。ねえ、私のせいだって。
I think in an interesting way through this alternative timeline scenario, we're seeing what would have panned out and what was in store for Marina if she was not killed accidentally by Takopi. I think if Marina were still alive in the original timeline without the incidents, I think this is most likely what would have happened. The mother getting more and more unstable, more resentful, more helpless, and as a result, more violent and more abusive towards Marina. Remember, the mother couldn't do anything with the husband's divorce and separation and the husbands or ex-husbands getting away and getting with Shizuka's mother. But what the mother can control is verbal, emotional, and physical abuse against Marina. It's the same thing that Marina did to Shizuka. And now it's the same thing that Shizuka is doing to Takopi. Do you see this trauma pattern and this trauma cycle? And this is what I mean. We have to break this cycle of hurting people, or hurt people, hurting people. So I guess even if Marina stayed alive, she was going to have very, very tough upbringing until she becomes independent financially, until she moves out of her home as an adult to start her new life. Yeah, it's tough. It's very tough.
You know? あなたも私の
Even the mother is projecting, right? Which is another defensive mechanism. She was talking about, are you going to blame me again for not breastfeeding you? Obviously, Marina never said that. And breastfeeding, that was years and years ago. So a lot of severely depressed people, their memories and their cognitive presentation, they get very much stuck in the past. To them, time kind of stops floating. They're stuck in their circumstances. Even though the time, obviously in real life, continues to move forward. But that's why I think the mother was like, are you blaming me for not breastfeeding you? That was decades ago, but she's very stuck. I think that's a display of her severe mental, that's her severe depression. The second thing is Are you calling me a failure? That's a very common projection. Projection is yet another defensive mechanism that many people do. We project our own insecurities. We project what we feel that we're lacking onto other people. So it's actually projecting by judging other people. Marina's mother calling Marina or accusing her, are you calling me a failure? It's actually the mother projecting her own sense of failure, her own sense of inadequacy as a mother, her own sense of low self-worth by accusing Marina. But she's simply projecting what she feels herself inside. Oh, that scar must be from the glass. So it was an accident by the mom. Oh, jeez.
私幸せなお母さんになりたい。幸せな子供を産んで幸せに育てて。
Is that Marina? Oh, jeez.
そ
By
したらきっ
kicking?
とママだって。
なんだ真似っこしてたんだっぴか。
はあ？何が？
だからマリナちゃんがいつも僕を強く触るのはママの真似っこしてたんだっぴよね。
That's exactly what I've just been talking about. That's exactly it. Vicious cycle, hurting people, hurting other people. People learn what they see, especially as children.
人間はこうやって子育ての練習するんだっぴね。
Oof, that hurts.
マリナちゃんもきっといいお母さんになれるっぴ。じゃあ僕がママになるお手伝いをするっぴよ。はあ、まずはパパを決めなきゃだっぴね。一緒に今からパパを探しに行く。
I am dead.
おけいなお世話。
ヒロロズカさん
Is that Azuma? That's Azuma! In 10th grade. 6 years, 4th grade, 10th grade. Wow, Azuma became an upright.
夏頃小学校ぶりに偶然会って、そのうちなんか付き合うことになって。
あらそうなのマリちゃん。
今度紹介とか。
いいじゃない楽しみ。パパもそしたらみんなでお食事とか。
What's the email? From Dad, Marina, I need you to talk to her. She needs to stop avoiding the divorce mediation. I've reached my limit. I just want to move on and start a new life. She needs to realize that I deserve a chance to rebuild my life. Oh, so, okay. So again, to my original points, the timeline here is simply continuation from the original timeline if Marina was not killed accidentally. So it sounds like the mother is in deep, deep denial. She's in denial. She's like, no, the father's going to come home. My husband is only out and about because of COVID. It's just another illusion that the mother is afraid of bursting that bubble out of denial. Again, denial is yet another self-defensive or survival mechanism. And yeah, look at the night and day. The mother is so much happier. And who would have thought in this alternative timeline, Marina and Azuma will become a couple? Wow, makes sense. Azuma is a good-looking kid. He's a class president, very much well-liked and respected in school. And Marina's, even with that scar, remember that girl's chattering in the background? Oh, she's so cool. Marina also has this charisma. And I'm sure being blonde and being popular in school also helps. But makes sense. Without Marina's cruelty in the original timeline, as a result of her own trauma, I'm sure they could have become a very, very nice high school couple as 10th graders. But yeah, the Marina is reminiscing and thinking about the email and reminding herself that, man, my mom isn't deep, deep denial, which means the mother stays stuck, but also the father also stays stuck. And most importantly, Marina continues to stay stuck and be a victim to her mother's instability, unstable nature, and ongoing verbal and emotional abuse. So it sounds like the mom doesn't really hit Marina anymore because she's older and she's in high school now.
あ、 その話は
継ぐのは兄だから。
あんまり聞かない方向で。
Looks like Junya is scheduled to take over the clinic, which means Junya has also become a doctor, following the footsteps of the mother. Yeah, also, Azuma is only 10th grade in this scenario. Taking over the clinic, that's like a decade away or more. But again, you see Marina's mother grasping for positive things, grasping for good news. Like, oh, I'm so happy for you and your new boyfriend. Azuma has a bright future ahead of him. He must be scheduled to take over the clinic. Again, because Marina's mother feels utterly helpless and powerless in her own life. She's grasping for control because she has no control in her own life. It's sad. It's sad all around.
楽しく話せたの久々かも。
ソフィー、
食ってあげようかな。それに傷のことも気にしないでくれて。独り言？
やばい。
You did.
ママも変わっちゃって仲いい子もいなかったし、ずっと一人で。でも最近は
ハッピーだっぴか？
そしたらナオくんとは出会ってないわけだし。だからさ、なんていうか最近はちょっと悪くないよ。
Aww. Takopi the Cupid. And I think the reason why Marina just kind of hit Takopi away from her face is because I don't think Marina's used to intimacy, like intimate physical contact. Or maybe Takopi just a slushy pink octopus alien, so it kind of feels slimy. Who knows? But they have those suction cups. So does it feel slimy? Or is it just suction cups all over her face, which is a weird feeling. But I think it's because emotionally and psychologically speaking, I think Marina is not used to Takopi's, just intimacy and very friendly, cuddly physical gestures, because she's not getting that from her mother or her father, which should be the first line of defense and first line of exposure for children to feel this love, physical touch, physical love, physical proximity, and intimate gestures from our caregivers, usually our parents or grandparents. Oh, they're walking together.
すっごい美人だって。地元こっちなんでしょ？
Is it Shizuka?
昔いろいろ。
Is Shizuka the transfer back from Tokyo in this return of timeline? What the heck? And also, one last thing I would say is I love, in a very interesting way, maybe it'll rub some people the wrong way, but as a psychotherapist who practice non-judgmental approach with all my clients, because we don't get to choose our circumstances. Marina did not choose to become a bully. She did not choose being neglected by her mother. She did not choose her own emotional, physical, psychological abuses by her mom. But of course, she did become a bully. She did become borderline sadistic against Shizuka. But I do appreciate with the psychological theme and emotional through line, how the writers are in their own way trying to humanize everyone in this show. Whether you're a victim or a perpetrator of violence, everyone have their own stories. Everyone have their own unique circumstances. Everyone also endures and goes through their own invisible suffering and struggle. So I do like the writer's attempt to humanize everyone's mental health. But of course, the ultimate responsibility for us to break out of our trauma, to break our vicious cycle of trauma loop, is our responsibility to seek help. Because again, no one will ever care about our lives and our own well-being and recovery as much as we will ever care about ourselves. So as long as we stay alive, there is hope. And I wonder if that's also the deeper symbolic meaning of this episode with this alternative timeline in 2022, that if Marina stayed alive, there is also hope and chance for hopeful renewal and transformation for Marina, just like anyone else. As long as we stay alive, there is hope for redemption. It's definitely Shizuka. Oh, that's her, Shizuka. Same red backpack.
マジ？なんかロープが切れたって。ごめんナオくん。嫌だった。手当たっちゃって。え？どうかした？
Wow. Whoa, it's crazy. Older Shizuka as a 10th grader does look more like Azuma's mother, as he talks about in episode 4. And I think this episode is going to get darker and darker. Here's what I mean. Did you see Azuma, I guess, not holding Marina's hands after he, through his peripheral vision, saw Shizuka walking by with the luscious floating black hair? But here's what I want to zoom in on. I think this is foreshadowing and a setup for Marina to re-traumatize and go through the same trauma that her mother went through, of your own husband cheating on you and leaving you for another woman, Shizuka's mother. But in this case, I wonder if this is a parallel setup for Azuma to leave Marina for Shizuka, because looked like there was like heart and love at first sight with the heart emojis in Azuma's eyes. Oh my gosh, I hope that's not the case, but that's a setup I'm seeing.
クセさんには僕しかいないんだ。
Wait, what?
再会できたのは奇跡だと思う。小学校の時から惹かれてた。僕にしか頼れないんだ。僕にも彼女しかいないって分かった。
Oh my gosh, what the heck? This is exactly what I said with that setup. Oh my gosh. I mean, what do I say? Sounds like Azuma is breaking up with Marina as soon as he laid his eyes onto Shizuka after she came back. Yeah, so Marina is going through the same scenario that her mother went through because of Shizuka's mother. But this time it's Shizuka. So it's an alternative timeline, but not really. A lot of the circumstances are still intact. But oh my gosh, this is rough, man. The writers are fucking nuts. I'm gonna ask the same question I asked in episode 2, I believe. Were the writers high? Were they sober? How did they come up with this level of creative writing? The writing is insane for this anime. Like, how did they think to make this full circle moment in the most traumatizing, heartbreaking way? To have a parallel process between Marina and her mother and Shizuka and her own mother, going through the same love triangle dynamic. Unfreaking believable, dude.
東くんまだ来ないの？
Oh, this is the day that Marina was supposed to bring Azuma to meet her mother for the first time. And the mom sounds like for the first time actually cooked up a full meal. The lights are on. Marina's mother is in a very, very amazing mood because she's about to see her daughter's boyfriend with a bright future taking over the clinic. I just need a moment. And the last thing I'll say is, remember when Azuma said, I've loved Shizuka since elementary school. I was all that she had before she transferred. And her coming back is a miracle. And Shizuka was all that I had. And I was all Shizuka had. Do you know what we call that clinically? Codependence. Definition right here. Codependency is a term coined out of substance use. It's usually talking about when a user uses substances and abuses the substances. And through that relationship, their partners also become codependent and abuses the substance and drugs together as a couple. So that's the original term of codependency. But obviously in the relationship and more relational context, we can also talk about how it can be toxic and unhealthy for a couple to be codependent on each other. it's unhealthy in the long term, because when you're codependent with your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, and a wife, that means you're putting your well-being, your livelihood, just like how Shizuka put all of her livelihood into Chappie. That's why when Chappie was taken away and killed, Shizuka tried to kill herself and did kill herself in the original timeline. Same thing. When you're codependent with your partner, when they're not okay, you're not okay. First, what's better than codependence is interdependence, that first right here. Within your dependent relationship, you're also interdependent. You're independent within your dependence. I have my own life, you have your own life, but together we make each other better. Because remember, guys, two broken people coming together does not make it whole. Two broken people together, one broken person plus your broken partner equals double the brokenness, not one complete. That's what people are mistaken with codependency. But rather, interdependence is more about you're independently wholesome and unique, and then your partner is also independently wholesome and unique. So 1 + 1 equals to more, versus two broken pieces does not equal to 1. So this is gonna be a rough scenario, and I'm sure Marina is gonna be distraught, obviously, and I'm sure the mother is also gonna be distraught, because she's also gonna be re-triggered and re-traumatized about her own scenarios. This is double the fuckery, dude. Excuse my French. Oh.
見て、髪も久々にブローしたの。
じゃあ僕が東くんを呼んでくるっぴ。待っててっぴ。
魅力的だと思うよ。
Meryok. Japanese is Meryok sounds like, which is attractive, but in Korean it's also Meryok, means you're attractive. Meryok. 너 매력 있다.
東くんこそ大丈夫だった？忙しいでしょ、私と違って。
そんなこと。
え？そんな急に。まあしょうがないわね。次、ねえ次はいつ来れるの？
私
Oh, it's too much to hold in. Marina, you did nothing wrong in this scenario. Just
僕が悪いん
circumstances.
だ。
Still self-comparison, putting
マ
himself
リちゃ
down.
ん何をしちゃったの？黙ってちゃわからないでしょ！またその傷のせい。母親失格よね。ママがマリちゃんを傷物にしちゃったから。違う。でもだから今日はちゃんとしておいたじゃない。
We see Marina's mother with the gray hair. You're seeing all of you see stress, depression, and all that. And again, what Marina's mother is displaying is she is projecting everything she's feeling. Is it because of your scars again? I am such a horrible mother. I am a horrible mother because you're damaged good. What did you do, Marina? Did Azuma break up with you? Is that why he's not coming today? Is it because of your scars? So is it because of me? Marina's mother is projecting yet again. She's just dumping all of her trauma onto Marina, which is not fair, nor healthy, and very toxic. Instead of being there for Marina, instead of holding space emotionally, comforting Marina, her own daughter, who of course is heartbroken, a healthy mother would have said, "Is everything okay, Marina? Tell me what happened. It's okay. You did nothing wrong." We can always have a nice meal together. Azuma doesn't have to be here. I love you regardless, Marina. You're my daughter. I love you. But instead of these heartwarming words, Marina's mother is blaming and pointing fingers at Marina. So everything that Marina's mother is accusing Marina of, everything that she is blaming Marina for, in reality, in the inside, Marina's mother is guilty. She's ashamed. And she's blaming herself for everything. Man.
料理だってこんなに
Ah.
ナオくん、他に好きな人が。
Oh gosh.
大丈夫。
That's true.
東くんのことは。
そうやって言いなさい言っちゃうママのことバカにするんでしょ言ってるのねなんでマリちゃんまで
Marina's mother is spiraling out of control with everything I talked about. She's completely out of control in her own life, so she's grasping for control by being physically, emotionally, and verbally abused against Marina. The same dynamic, same circumstances of trauma from 6 years ago in the original timeline. And obviously Marina is paralyzed in fear. Fight, flight, fear, and fawn. 4 primary fear responses of human, as I talked about throughout, because of her trauma with broken glasses. And now there's plates and glasses shattered everywhere. And just this flipped scenario of Marina suffering in her abuse and trauma at home, while Shizuka is happily holding hands with Azuma and having their heart-to-heart reunion. This just, the writing in the show is fucking nuts, dude. It's impressive, but it's also nuts.
悪いっていうの全部全部全部全部全部
I don't know what happened since the show's not showing. I don't know if the mother actually went through with that stabbing attempt. And I talked about this previously, but I'll briefly talk about it here. As I talked about with a lot of crimes of passion, boyfriends killing their girlfriends or girlfriends killing their boyfriends, since obviously both ways are possible. And since domestic violence is possible for both male partners and female partners, it's not always male to female, although that's the more common ones. But domestic violence and just violence in home dynamic goes both ways, period. A lot of crimes of passion happen because the moment the anger, the moment we spiral out of control, our thinking brain literally goes offline. And amygdala, definition right here, takes over. We are operating out of fear and survival mode. Our brains literally stop thinking. Again, our thinking brain goes offline and our emotions and passion takes over. So a lot of boyfriends who end up killing their girlfriends, afterwards they're like, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? What did I do? What was I thinking? That's poignant because they were not thinking neurologically. Similar thing is going through Marina's mother right now. She's not thinking. She's not trying to stab her daughter. Of course not. The mother is not a sociopath. She's not a serial killer. But why? The anger, the fear, self-blame, guilt, shame, overwhelm has hijacked the mother's brain, and her thinking brain went offline. She's purely reacting out of emotions and anger and shame by trying to stab her daughter because she's now out of control. Oh.
結局話しかけられなかったっぴね。マリナちゃん。
I'm gonna shit myself and Marina's dead.
なちゃん、ただいまっぴ。ごめんぴ。東くん連れてこれなかったっぴ。一緒にいた人なんだか目が怖くて。怖いっぴね。マリナちゃんは何してるっぴ？
Marina killed her mother out of self-defense. Because remember, 4 primary fear responses for humans are fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. Also, I'm wondering what Takopi's thinking about. Because of Takopi's naive innocence and Takopi's fixation of fixing mindset, Takopi left, which left the mother and Marina vulnerable. Because if Takopi was there in home with them, instead of trying to fix Marina's problem by trying to go bring Azuma back, maybe this entire accident could have been avoided. Because I'm sure Takopi would have stepped in and trying to defend Marina against her mother or vice versa. Once again, we're seeing Takopi's own trauma. Takopi's trauma of original sins. Disobedience out of innocence. And because of her naive innocence, human lives were lost. We're seeing that, which happened right before all this alternative timeline. We're seeing that over and over again. So in episode 5, we're not just seeing Marina's trauma, the mother's trauma, Shizuka's trauma. We're also witnessing Takopi's own trauma of her, I guess, re-remembering its own original sin, which just sounds like what the mother was telling Takopi before all this flashback or whatever this alternative timeline scenario. And I wonder if that's the reason why Takopi couldn't initially remember why she couldn't go back to the Happy End planet, the planet of Happy. I wonder if Takopi was also blocking out its own memories out of denial of why it was casted out of the Happy Planet in the first place and why Takopi is forbidden to return. I'm guessing it's because of the original sin of disobedience against the rules of Happy End. Oh my gosh.
ちゃんと殺さなきゃだった。クセ静かを。そうすればパパも青くんだってきっと一緒に。ねえ、ママ、一人にしないで。マリナちゃん。
We're seeing an identical parallel process of Shizuka's despair, how distraught Shizuka was and how brokenly helpless Shizuka was, and Takopi's completely lack of emotional understanding and complete naive innocence. We're seeing that same dynamic here. Marina's despair, she's absolutely heartbroken, traumatized, distraught. But Takopi's like, Marina-chan, I'm sorry, I couldn't bring back Azuma. Do you see that? Same process. Literally identical scenario happening.
まだいたのかよお前。マリナちゃん。なんだよ。なんでこんなことなら名前くらいつけとけばよかった。ねえ。わかったっぴ。殺せばいいんだっぴね。
What?
殺すってすればマリナちゃんハッピーだっぴね。
Wait, what? Hold on, what? What is happening? Is this the original timeline? What? Hold on, before whatever the fuck just happened? Oh my gosh, dude. Oh, even this pause scene is fucking brutal. Oh, there's no way the writers of this show were sober, right? How the fuck did they write this when they're sober-minded? Excuse my French. Again, I could say that because I'm French, Korean American. But we're seeing, again, what does Takopi do when Marina is feeling most emotionally and psychologically vulnerable? She literally just killed her mother out of self-defense and accidentally. I can't even imagine, there's no word to describe Marina's emotional and psychological states in this moment in time. There's no word. Complex PTSD, that's what it is. The highest level of adverse childhood experiences, ACEs. In this deep despair of aloneness and loneliness and helplessness, what does Takopi do? Takopi leaves her when Marina needs Takopi the most to go back in time to 6 years ago to kill Shizuka to make Marina happy again. We're seeing Takopi's lack of emotional development, lack of understanding with human condition that she's finally learned after the mirror reflection moment in episode 3 in your whatever alternative or original timeline. I don't know, dude. I don't know which one's the original timeline. Looks like all that happens and this is the original timeline. What is going on? But you guys see that, right? You guys see Takopi's toxic positivity syndrome and fixing or fixture mindset without being emotionally grounded is showing up again while Marina is the most desperate and the most vulnerable. Exact same thing happens with Shizuka in the other timeline.
やっぱ名前くらいつけてやればよかった。
And because looks like Marina has a shattered glass which killed her mother. Looks like she's about to stab herself in the neck. Oh my gosh, dude. I'm glad the show has trigger warning and viewer discretion. This is fucking dark. That's why Marina kept saying before, again, Takopi took off, I should have give you a name. Because I think Marina, at this point, the moment Takopi came back home, knew that she was going to kill herself. Because just like Shizuka's utter loneliness, no more reasons to live for because Chappie was taken away, Marina, at this point, no longer has any reasons, any desires to live any longer. Because Marina's only lifeline, despite the abuses, despite the dysfunctioning and toxic nature of the mother, her mother was the only thing that Marina had. But think about another feeling of abandonment. The father left Marina. The mother also left Marina because she killed her out of self-defense. And the last companion, the last thing that Marina had in her life, also just now left her. So there's nothing left besides absolute and utter despair. Feeling all alone. Feeling helpless. Feeling hopeless. All hope is now lost.
タコピーとか
Takopi. Is that the happy planet? But the animation style is absolutely amazing for this show. Even now, this animation, whatever we're seeing right now, kind of reminds me of the artwork by Little Prince. Obviously, a very famous novels and child book stories. But doesn't the artwork kind of resembles the artwork of Little Prince? Very innocent, very childlike, very imaginative, very pure, very wholesome. That's Takopi. Sick animation style.
この大ハッピー時計で小4の時に戻って久世静香を殺すっぴ。
わかりました。
Hmm? Whoa.
あなたのすべての記憶を消して生まれたままのハッピー状態に戻す。ハッピー性の最も大切な掟を破っ
Disobedience, the original sin. Whoa.
生まれ変わるのです。すべてを忘れて。
それってそんなの。
What?
Chappie! でももうあなたの記憶は。
This was so unexpected. What a plot twist. Oh my gosh.
とお話しして教えてっぴ。
What a fucking revelation, dude. Excuse my French. Oh my gosh. Oh, my brain hurts. Oh, my brain cells. This officially verifies my theory of the meaning behind Takopi's original sin, disobedience. Takopi disobeyed the mother's wish of erasing Takopi's memories, and by banishing Takopi from the planet, by sending it to reincarnation / reborn. I think the original sin is, like I said, disobedience, and literally escaped through the big time clock thing and time traveled back to, sounds like 6 years ago. So that's disobedience. But second, I think Takopi also failed its mission because it tried to spread happiness without understanding what happiness truly means for humans. That's the toxic positivity syndrome I've talked about since episode 1. And we see the mother sobbing and sad about what does kill mean and why did you hit me? That hurts. Why won't you talk to me? It sounds like mother's solution to problem is also fixing. You disobeyed, you broke the first rule, you committed the original sin. Therefore, I must erase all your memories and reset. I must reset you from zero, reborn. No wonder Takopi knows nothing but also fixing. Takopi's fixer mindset was passed down and instilled by its own mother. As children, we copy what we see and experience. So it makes sense. And we're seeing just 3 different trauma loop happening. Takopi's own trauma loop after committing the original sin, Marina's trauma loop, and Shizuka's trauma loop.
必ず君をハッピーにするっぴ。記憶をなくしちゃっても必ず。あれ？僕は一体誰に笑ってほしいんだっぴ。
So its memories were erased. So much has happened since the beginning of this episode. I'm losing track of events. Oh my gosh. It brought another flashback to Takopi stalking and killing Marina accidentally. It finally remembered the person that Takopi killed accidentally is the actual original person Takopi tried to make happy, make smile. Think about the trauma and the disbelief Takopi is now experiencing. The person that Takopi disobeyed, the mother and the rules of the happy planet, the person she escaped through the happy planet back into planet Earth. The person she initially wanted to make happy and smile is the very person she killed accidentally. This going back to my thesis in episode 1. Good intention without emotional groundedness, good intention without good emotional understanding of the other person will have detrimental and chaotic impact. It's always intention versus impact. Intention is very important, but impact often is way more important because impact is what happens at the end of the day. Intention is what driving that action. So you can have all the best intentions in this world, but if you're not grounded in human understanding and emotional understanding, if you're not grounded, you're going to backfire, and that intention is going to have opposite effect. Case in point, Takopi's flashback right now.
どうして忘れてたんだろう。殺さなきゃ。久世静香を殺さなきゃ。久世静香を殺さなきゃ。完膚なきまでに命を壊さなきゃ。すべて思い出した。大事なママを失った。殺さなきゃ、殺さなきゃ。久世静香は悪だ。殺さなきゃ。あれ？でも。
I love Takopi's internal dialogue. It's almost like that we have good angel good angels, like guardian angel on our shoulder, and the devil. The devil in Takopi's mind is like, we must kill Shizuka. Shizuka's evil. We must kill her. But the angel in Takopi is like, but what about all the abuses, all the tragedies Marina inflicted upon Shizuka? How do we reconcile with that? That little guardian angel, the good voice in Takopi, is demonstrating for us, the viewers, again, what I've been talking about, the complexities and how multifaceted humans are. Full stop. We cannot be judged and labeled by our worst mistake. We are much more than that. And I wonder how Takopi's gonna reconcile with all these situations happening, the good voice versus the bad voice. And we see, going back to Takopi's mother, banishing her from the happy planet, Takopi completely missed the mark. She's getting violent. And I'm sure one of the rules for the Happians is that thou shalt not kill. Of course, that's one of the 10 commandments per Judeo-Christian perspective, but I'm sure they're happy planets. Happiness does not involve someone else's death or killing. So I'm sure that's one of the first rules Takopi's mother told Takopi, don't kill. Try to make people happy without hurting anyone else in the process. But what is Takopi thinking about? I must kill. I must kill. I must kill.
なちゃん殺した僕は。ねえ、お腹空いてるの？
こんなところで何やってんだよ、このタコ。
Azuma knows about the existence of Takopi? Guys, someone tell me please, which timeline are we in? Are we in the original timeline? Are we in the 2022 timeline? Are we 6 years backwards from the 2022 timeline, Marina's timeline? Or are we flash back into the original timeline? What timeline are we in? And how does Azuma in this timeline knows of Takopi? What is going on? Oh my gosh, I'm so confused. Oh my gosh, I've never been this confused. Oh, in a while. Oh my goodness, dude. Yeah, I don't even know what else to say. Enough said. I hope you enjoy my analysis for today. This episode is truly mind-boggling. It bamboozled me yet again with completely unexpected plot twist at the end, with the whole timeline, with the whole original sin, with the whole reset situation. And if you're enjoying my analysis, my non-superficial in-depth commentary, please make sure you're subscribed. Double check to make sure my videos are showing up in your feed so you don't miss the next video. And I really appreciate you for tuning in, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. What's one thing you're taking away from my video, since there's so much content jam-packed in each video? And do you have any other follow-up questions about any of the concepts I've explained? A comment, and I will gladly answer your question and hopefully share more helpful resources and education in the process. I appreciate you. Until next time. Peace.